Lowell head coach RJ Boudro, you guys just locked up your 9th straight team state title. A good duel against a Goodrich team. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, first of all, you just mentioned Goodrich. They are a great program. Gritty kids, and they're young, so they're going to be good. And Coach Sirigano does a phenomenal job. Just working with Goodrich kids and kids that kind of come up through his youth program. So hats off to those guys, because I know they want to win a state title. I know they know what it's like to win a state title. They won back-to-back, I think, in 08, 09. So just a great program, and to beat a program the way we did, I think it was 46-16. Like, it's a big score against a really good team. So we had a great week. I thought we wrestled really well, and I think the scores kind of showed that. Our guys, they showed up, and to be able to show up the way they do and have 9 times, 9 state championships is just kind of absurd. But it's a great feeling. It's a good group of kids.
You guys plugged in a lot of different pieces between the 3 rounds. Talk about that and just the depth of what you guys have.
I think that kind of speaks to the 9 in a row. Like, we're looking to next year when we're doing that. So we're getting some of those guys in some of those matches to be able to go out there on a stage and wrestle is an opportunity that no one gets. I shouldn't say no one, but hardly anyone gets. And so when those guys go out there and they kind of have that feeling that they want to be back there, and they know what it's like, and when they go out there next year, it's not the first time. So yes, that's a huge thing that we're able to do, and we bring a big group of kids, and there's a lot of kids that didn't get to weigh in, but they're still kind of there and kind of soaking everything up, and being able to do that. And yeah, in the gamesmanship of the duel, there's a lot that happened there in that Goodrich duel that people will never know about. Starting at 189 was a big deal, and we won.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, sure. So we won the toss.
Yep.
And we knew we were going to put Will Neely, who's our 71 pounder, at 89, because they've wrestled Macklin at 89, I think, in every duel. He always goes 89, and Chance Carlson 71, so we thought that would happen. And we thought, if we bump Carson Crace to 215 and Carter Bauta heavy, we're going to guarantee wins, and you try to get as many wins as you can. But then right before it happened, we're like, holy smokes, like, I'm pretty sure that if we win that toss, they're going to put was it Mahan out, because they think we'll put Carson out. They don't think we're not going to not put out our 3rd-ranked guy in the state. And so they did put Mahan out, and we put Blau on him because we knew that we would probably pin at heavyweight, and sure enough we did. So we got 5 and 6 at 215 in heavy, and that was a huge gap maker. Because the duel, we had it as a 5-point duel, and doing that made it like a 9-point duel, which to me is a big deal. So.
Yeah, talk about your lower weights coming out of the gate, pretty exclusively freshmen.
Yes.
What kind of what have those guys brought to your lineup this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have those lower weights and to be as gritty and the moxie that they have. They're a group that kind of sticks together. So 312, 1925, it's tough to beat a team that's got what we have down there. And those kids, they work really hard. And I know Carter Chahaki that's the first time I think he's really kind of felt let down in a duel. He lost a match he thought he shouldn't have, but that Jaden Davis kid's a really good kid. But it kind of gives us hope for the future by having those kind of freshmen in our lineup. And Braddock King is a guy, he's a top 8 103 pounder that people don't even know about, because he's got the 3rd string on our team right now at 103. So I think our future looks bright, because we got a lot of things are going to get plugged in next year.
Talk about your semifinal duel. Ramsey Muchler opens it up, knocking off #1 Stradling. What did that do to your team, right out of the gates?
Well, I mean, we beat Gaylord 50-6, which is crazy. It's a good Gaylord team, and it started with Ramsey being able to do that. Taking out Loudon Stradling is a match he's never won. He's wrestled Loudon in different summer things and whatever, and it's never beaten him. And so that is good for Ramsey, because going into next week, he's building some confidence, and I know he wants to win a state championship, and I think he just now proved that he's able to do that. Loudon Stradling's a phenomenal wrestler, so and to get that started, it just kind of shows you what one match can do to a duel. Because that score against Gaylord is pretty crazy, because it's a good team, and they're solid all the way through.
All right, last question, I'll let you go. Grand March, your team was singing Jingle Bells. #1, did you know that? And #2, what's that about?
I did not know that they were singing Jingle Bells. It doesn't surprise me. They're pretty weird, but I think that's what makes things kind of unique. And I mean, I guess the reason for that is we look at this like Christmas. You know that feeling you get when you were 10 years old and you couldn't sleep because you were so excited. And we look at these things as opportunities for that. And, you know, behind me over here, we have this huge social going on with, you know, I'm biased, but our fans were the loudest there by far. We had the most people there, and we traveled well. And you would think that they would get tired of it, right? You know, like when you just get winning, you kind of get spoiled, but it's the exact opposite. We just keep getting stronger and bigger and better. So it's a big help for us. But the Jingle Bells thing is funny, and I'm sure they were probably making animal sounds and doing some things like that. But they just like to have fun, and I think that kind of speaks to it, man. These guys have a ton of fun. Wrestling practice is something that, you know, I'll put money on it, but I bet you the first week after practice they're going to be in the room already, and seniors too, because they really enjoy it. And I think that's part of our success.
You guys got 14 through. I know I said that was the last question, but I'm going to go one more. You got 14 through to the individuals. I think, is that the second time?
Yes.
Maybe you've done that. You know, how do you handle this week from now till then, and you know, make sure everyone stays focused and you know, not dwelling on the team stuff so much?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have some experience doing it, and 14 is just a crazy number too. You know, I think people start throwing 14 state qualifiers around like it's just something we do, but that's crazy that we have 14 qualifiers. And you know, tomorrow and Monday we're probably not going to do anything, and then we'll just really just try to kind of get off this roller coaster ride of, you know, some of the emotions and try to control those, and then we'll have all of our team. 42 guys will be in the room helping those 14 guys get ready for the individual, because they know that those 14 guys are a representation of our program, and they want them to do the absolute best they possibly can. So just really, like, if we couldn't practice at all, we wouldn't. So if we just could make weight without practicing, we would do that. But we'll have to get some weight off and probably play some more spike ball and dodgeball and do some things that aren't wrestling, and then try to go wrestle well on Friday and Saturday at Fort Field.
All right, actual last question. Tomorrow, my way, you guys have two K through 8 teams in. I guess a two-parter. You know, how big is that for the growth of your program, and you know, what % of your roster do you think grew up wrestling, and I guess the youth, middle school dual teams for Lowell? If you had to.
If I had to say, it's about
95%
of our kids were in our youth duels program. And I went to a couple youth duels, K8. I have a daughter who's 8 years old and actually wrestled in one of them. So it's like, it was kind of weird, you know, like I have our youth coaches that go out and do those things, and I got to see it kind of as a parent and that side of things. And we have a really good K8 team. It's crazy, and I was like, wow, man, these kids are working hard. So it's super important. It's not just the wrestling that's taking place, it's like the duel. You know, them understanding what a duel means is like, and that the fact that they can win when they can lose and still win for the team, you know, by not getting pinned or holding on to points. And those kids I just saw like 8 of them that are here at the social. So they're here, they got to see this, they're on that front row. I don't know how many other programs have 20 kids sitting on the ledge kind of above our duel and fist bumping and stuff like that, but I think that's a big part of why we've had 9 in a row.
Awesome. Appreciate the time. Congrats again.
Thanks.
And you got anything else?
I just love Michigan Grappler. Love what you guys do, or JJ does. And I just think just the sport of wrestling and what we get to do, and if you've never been to the Team State Championships, it's something we're seeing. I love where our sport is growing, and where it's going, and the youth that we have. And the girls wrestling, and it's just growing. So I just think it's Michigan Grappler, and it's a whole bunch of other things that help our state kind of grow, and I just want to keep that going and keep the momentum going. And it's not just about Lowell wrestling, it's about everybody. So I mean, if there's coaches out there that want some help, I'm an open book, because it's more about it's wrestling and this sport and how good it is for just people. It's made me and who I am, and if anybody can have an experience within wrestling, I highly recommend it, and I just think it's something we got to do for people. So yeah, I'll end with that.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yep.